going to move to the next grade. Last night, board members voted to change its policy for summer school, only requiring to pass 3 of the 4 core subjects to move forward. Kennedy Harris breaks down the decision and what this means for students.
Every student this year has faced new learning challenges, and for some students who may be struggling, Aiken County district leaders are giving them another chance. Middle school students in Aiken County now have the chance to take up to 3 core classes in summer school if they don't pass at the end of this year. Since 2016, students have been required to pass all 4 core subjects, math, science, language arts, and history, to move on to the next grade. They only had the option to retake 2 of those classes over the summer. But with the new policy, students can take up to 3 core classes this summer, giving them another chance to move on to the next grade. The district says they needed to be flexible, considering the learning challenges this school year.
So we know that families have had challenges, and we've worked to overcome those, whether they were technology or communication or whatever the case may be. So we understand that families have faced these challenges, and we want to give our students every opportunity possible to remain on grade level.
Right now, the plan is for those classes to be taught face-to-face and possibly offer a virtual option for students who require it. And coming up at 6, we'll take a closer look at what the district plans in offering this program and what parents think about the opportunity. Reporting in Augusta, Kennedy Harris, on your side.
Richmond County schools say they're exploring options to offer extended learning opportunities to ensure students stay on track. We don't know exactly what those options are just yet. And Columbia County has a credit recovery program to try to help students get back on track. A big day in Columbia County. Tomorrow, the school board is expected to make a decision on who the next superintendent will be. The board was supposed to make the decision last night, but they decided to push that until Thursday. The board did narrow down the superintendent to these 3 finalists a little earlier this month, so we will keep you posted. More money coming to teachers in Georgia. Eligible pre-K, assistant, and child care teachers will be given a $1,000 bonus. This will be funded through the Federal Child Care and Development Block Grant that targets programs that stayed open during the pandemic. New this afternoon, we are learning an inmate has died from COVID in Edgefield. 52-year-old Robert Horton tested positive for the virus on January 5th. He was placed into isolation. He was transported the same day to a local hospital. On January 14th, he got sicker. He had to be placed on a ventilator, and we're told just yesterday he passed away. Officials say he had long-term pre-existing medical conditions. Taking a look outside, the call to impeach former President Donald Trump continues. Today, Senator Patrick Leahy returned to work after he was taken to the hospital out of caution after he was not feeling well. Leahy will be presiding over that impeachment trial. 17 Republicans would need to join Democrats to convict the former president of inciting the deadly assault on the Capitol. Currently, only 5 Republicans have gone on record to say they plan to. South Carolina attorney Butch Bowers will represent Trump. In an interview, Bowers would not say if the former president will appear at the trial or if he will call any witnesses. Today marks International Holocaust Remembrance Day, but like many events during the pandemic, people were forced to observe that holiday virtually. Here at home, the rabbi from Adass Yeshurun Synagogue says he's actually taking courses himself on the Holocaust and to learn more about Jewish history. He says his synagogue offers a program every year for anyone to learn about the history. A history, he says, always brings up emotions on days like this.
It's a day that we'll never forget. It's an occurrence that we'll never forget. Something that's we'll continue to teach and remember for the rest of time.
An Augusta Jewish Museum is being built downtown, and it's expected to open in stages starting this summer. Some commemorations were held virtually and in small groups all around the world today. In Germany, a Holocaust survivor spoke about her experience. She explained how the lives of Jews in Germany are still far from normal, even almost 8 decades later. In Israel, the Holocaust Remembrance Center was closed today. The museum held online events and activities instead. A ribbon cutting today at Fort Gordon. The Army Post opened their new tax center. It provides free preparation and filing of both state and federal income taxes for active duty service members, retirees, and their dependents. The tax center is staffed by service members from all military units throughout Fort Gordon. In Savannah, they're still building a new arena where a pro hockey team will take to the ice in 2022. They haven't picked a name yet, but right now they're just called the Savannah Pro Hockey Team, plain and simple. They're also working on mascot and color schemes for the team. They're looking to find a head coach, an National Hockey League affiliate, so yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. But city leaders and league officials say they're excited.
Hockey is a very exhilarating live sport, so even if people aren't familiar with the game, I think once they come out and experience it, they'll fall in love with it, and that's the whole point, is to grow it over the long term.
It really is. Live hockey is fun to watch. I miss the Augusta team we had, but this is all set to get underway in October of next year, with Savannah competing against other East Coast Hockey League teams in the South, like the Jacksonville Icemen and South Carolina Stingrays. Check this out. This great white shark tagged in Nova Scotia has been found near Myrtle Beach. That is a long journey. He already has a name. Mahone, named after the Mahone Bay, is a 13-foot great white. He weighs more than 1,700 pounds. He was peeing near the area on January 16th. But get this, just in October, so only a few months, he was tagged in Nova Scotia. He's actually the largest male shark tagged by OSearch in Canadian waters. You can track his journey on OSearch's website, and it appears he likes to travel. An 84-year-old man who has not missed a single Super Bowl is not letting the pandemic stop him. Hear how he's making it possible despite the pandemic. And you may be trying to make some extra money selling things online, but beware of those scammers. We'll tell you how 2 Craigslist scams work and how to avoid them.
And we are not done with the rain yet. We are anticipating some scattered showers to move through before midnight tonight. Take a look at some sunshine returning tomorrow. Next.
First Community Bank, the bank behind your business.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
The pandemic is not stopping an 84-year-old man who's been to every single Super Bowl. Don Chrisman, who lives in Maine, has gone every year since the first one in 1967. And this year, he finally thought his run might be over, might have to break his record. But the NFL, which sells him tickets at face value, said they were going to work it out. Now Don has a flight booked with his daughter. Both have already received a COVID vaccine. Don says he will be cautious, but the chance to see Tom Brady grab another ring on his home field will make sports history.
I can't explain it, but, this time of year, something inside says it's time to go. They said, we're going to work it out. We'll send you an invoice for the tickets.
His annual migration, that's a pretty sweet gig he's got going. He says there's been debate in his family about him going, as you can probably imagine, but Don says ultimately he just wishes Brady was wearing a different jersey. You're taking a look at the NFL's honorary captains for the Super Bowl 55 coin toss. Susie Dorner is a nurse manager at Tampa General Hospital in Florida. Tremaine Davis is a Los Angeles educator, and James Martin is a veteran from Pittsburgh. On top of the honorary captain's announcement, the NFL says it will invite 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers from Tampa and the surrounding Central Florida area to attend that Super Bowl. All 32 NFL teams across the country will also be inviting healthcare workers from their communities to attend the big game. Quite an honor. Taking a live look now at Raymond James Stadium, where Super Bowl 55 will be held Sunday, February 7th, featuring the Kansas City Chiefs and the home team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And will Brady get another Super Bowl ring? I mean, I can't see him not. He pretty much knows the secret sauce, Riley.
Definitely so. He is the GOAT. Hands down. No debating whatsoever. He is just going to be a sign of our next front kind of heading our way. We are expecting to clear out Monday, but staying pretty breezy, and those temperatures don't look overly warm as we roll into next week.
If you're trying to sell something you no longer use or want, you might try listing it on Facebook or Craigslist. And while you might make a little money, you could also become a victim and lose your money. Jamie Tucker explains how 2 Craigslist scams work and how to avoid them.
And these scams are common because they work. A couple of weeks ago, I posted to Craigslist an ad for a video camera. And almost instantly, I got some bites from scammers. My ad showed pictures of a digital video camera and accessories for $250. A couple of hours later, I started to get messages, this one, to a number I included in the ad. Their messages had all kinds of grammatical errors. Please don't mind, can I send a code to see if you are real? Now, this scam often works. They send a link to a Google code asking me to click on it and provide them the code or the numbers. Now, the way the scam works is by giving the scammer the Google code, they can set up a Google Voice number under your cell phone number. Now, the other Craigslist scam can cost you money. The response to my ad this time was by email from a Mary telling me she's out of town at a wedding, but she'll issue a cashier's check to purchase the camera and even pay an extra $50. Total scam. Craigslist said if I continued with the sale, the buyer would have sent a cashier's check to me for more than what I was asking, and then asked me to wire them the difference. The cashier's check I cashed would turn out to be a fake, and the bank would hold me responsible for the money I received. And if someone came to pick up the item, I would have been out the camera and the cash. Craigslist said you should only do business with real people paying real cash that you meet in a real place. To feel safe, you could even ask them to meet you at a police station. And be aware, this scam is now circulating on Facebook Marketplace as well. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Facebook urges anyone doing business on Facebook Marketplace to only pay for items through PayPal, cash, or Facebook checkout. Still to come, many movie theaters still struggling. Some have sat empty for nearly a year now. We'll tell you how Congress is getting involved.
I can't take it anymore.
A local mother struggling to homeschool 3 children. The I-Team digs deeper and finds a staggering amount of students are failing. What schools are doing to save failing senior students. Thursday on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
The pandemic has hit so many industries hard, and that includes the movie industry. Most movie theaters are still empty to this day. Many are struggling to survive, but as Elise Preston reports, Washington is stepping in with tax dollars to help keep the marquees on.
Movie theaters have sat mostly empty for nearly a year. The pandemic first led to shutdowns. Many, like Santikos Entertainment in Texas, were able to open, but the big blockbusters didn't return.
Over 80% of the movies that were supposed to be shown this year have been delayed. Some of those have gone direct to streaming.
Theaters have tried to attract customers. In the Philippines, moviegoers can see a show on a social distance gondola. Smaller U.S. operations are finding some success playing older popular movies. And places like AMC will let you rent your own theater for as little as $99. Still, revenue for the industry dropped 80% in 2020, leaving many theaters, big and small, on the brink of bankruptcy. But now, some financial help is on the way. AMC Theaters recently raised hundreds of millions of dollars in financing on its own to stay afloat. Smaller companies are getting stimulus aid from Washington.
It's going to be a real lifeline for, thousands of businesses across the country.
Patrick Corcoran is with the National Association of Theater Owners that helped successfully lobby Congress for $15 billion in grant money. Businesses that qualify can use it to pay employees, rent, utilities, and vendors.
This will certainly get most companies well into the spring, possibly later.
After that, it's hoped widespread vaccinations will help flip the script.
We hope it rolls out faster, gets more widespread, and we can get back to business as usual.
And that would give movie theaters a shot at a Hollywood ending. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
So far today here in Augusta, we've recorded just under a quarter of an inch. We do have more rain in store as we head later into the evening. Now look at that forecast just after the break.
You want local news that impacts you?
We've got you covered.
We're on your side.
I think it's been a day of on and off rain as we take a live look there at I-20 in Grovetown.
Right. Big changes for middle schoolers in Aiken County during a pandemic that has changed so much. Students who go to summer school will only have to pass 3 of the 4 required subjects to move on to the next grade.
Kennedy Harris takes us through details of this change and tells us what parents have to say about it.
The unpredictability of this school year has created learning challenges for many. Now some students in Aiken County will have a second chance.
We certainly, understand the challenges that have been faced, whether it's from a technology standpoint or, access or, whatever the case may be. things have not been ideal.
Tuesday night, the Aiken County School Board voted to allow middle schoolers to make up for failed classes.
This has to be a great piece of information, just knowing that that opportunity will be there.
In the past, students needed to pass all 4 core classes to move on to the next grade. Now they only need to pass 3, and if they don't pass this school year, they can make it up over the summer.
The board is always concerned with elevated numbers of students that are not performing well academically.
And there's also the potential for a bigger turnout for summer school. And if that does happen, the district says they're ready for that too.
I think we'll have the opportunity to be able to hire that staff to handle that increased load if we do, see that happen.
Some parents say it's a great opportunity that should remain even after the pandemic.
The majority of the students that need it are the ones who are not doing well. That should be available at all times.
Britton's daughter is in the 7th grade learning virtually. Even though her daughter is doing well, she says she'd take advantage of the program.
Because next year may be like this year. It may be tough. It may be some obstacles in our way that make it a little harder.
Right now, the plan is to hold those classes face-to-face. Kennedy Harris, on your side.
There are no official plans yet for similar policy changes for elementary or high schoolers. Sign up for the summer school program will begin in March. The district also has other remediation plans to help kids raise or keep their grades up before summer school. We asked some of our other school districts if they plan to change up summer school plans. Both Richmond and Columbia County Schools say their summer school plans have not changed, but both say they are looking at extended learning options for students struggling during the pandemic.
In Columbia County, the school board is still undecided on who the next school superintendent will be. They narrowed it down to these 3 finalists earlier in the month. The board was expected to make a decision last night, but they pushed that vote ahead until tomorrow. We'll let you know what the board decides.
In Burke County, a former coach and school district employee arrested and accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Kenyatta Berrien is in jail on suspicion of sexual assault by a teacher or administrator. Her bond was denied. We're learning she was a coach at Burke County High School. She was a receptionist in the district administrative offices. We're working to find out what she coached. Superintendent Dr. Angela Williams tells us Berrien no longer works with the district as of last week.
New this evening, an inmate at the federal prison in Edgefield has died after getting COVID-19. Robert Horton tested positive back on January 5th and was taken to a hospital. 9 days later, he was put on a ventilator, and yesterday he died. Horton was 52 years old. We're told he had a pre-existing condition requiring him to be more at risk, but he was from North Carolina, serving a more than 15-year sentence with intent to distribute cocaine.
Dozens of guests and homeless families with nowhere to go kicked out of an Augusta motel with almost no heads up. We showed you this happening yesterday here at 6 o'clock. Tonight we're on your side with why this happened. Will Rio live for us at the Motel 6 on Boy Scout Road. So, Will, what's it been like out there today?
Well, construction has been going on all day here at this Motel 6 after code enforcement shut it down yesterday. Many of these residents have been forced to pick up the pieces after they were forced out of the motel. I spoke with one guest who said that she's very upset with the way the hotel handled this entire situation.
I returned back to the hotel to pack up, and as we're packing up, they're like, you need to hurry, you need to hurry, you need to hurry.
It was a feeling of chaos yesterday for people staying at the Motel 6 on Boy Scout Road.
When you pack it up and move it in a split moment's notice, things are chaos. Life is chaos. It's crazy.
Stuffing garbage bags and shopping carts full of clothes and personal belongings, more than 30 to 40 people were given no more than 60 minutes to move their entire life out of their hotel rooms.
To have the one thing, the stability that I needed and had, ripped out from underneath me, and in a moment's notice having to try to come up with something on the fly. And that's what bothered me more than anything.
Augusta Code Enforcement told News 12 they had a regular inspection last week. Yesterday, there was another inspection that determined there was a water leak causing structural damage, forcing guests having to evacuate quickly.
There's some people that have been there 6 months because that's the only option that they have.
The Augusta Housing Community Development helped 25 to 30 people and families find a place to stay. They have 6 hotel partners that help house families in need.
Basically what you had yesterday, you have persons who have given a choice to sort of live in these situations and in these standards. So if they're living in these standards, then they need to be of a quality standard. They need to be decent, safe, and sanitary.
Code enforcement says the motel only found out their guests had to move out hours before they asked them to leave. But residents feel the hotel didn't do enough.
This should not have fallen on any of us to pick up the slack where the hotel slacked off.
And Motel 6 said that they're giving a full refund within 3 to 5 days to all of those residents who left. The only problem with that is that many of these residents don't have a place to go, and they don't have the funds to be able to check into another place, so they have a roof above their head.
Hopefully, man, you just feel for these people in hard times, compounded by more hard times. Will, thank you. We have new details tonight after a pregnant woman is shot, survives, and delivers her baby all in a few hours yesterday. The woman says she was standing in front of her house when she felt something hit her stomach. She looked down, she realized she was bleeding and called for help. She was taken to the hospital and delivered her baby. The woman's boyfriend, Perry Williams, has been taken into custody, but deputies are still looking for the shooter. Williams says he was inside the home when his girlfriend was shot, but he faces reckless conduct and drug charges after deputies found marijuana and multiple guns inside the home, including 2 AR-15s.
To coronavirus now, and taking a look at how many people have been vaccinated in the two-state, more than 740,000 in Georgia, nearly 300,000 in South Carolina. On the left there on your screen, you'll see how many more people have been vaccinated in the last 24 hours. More than 71,000 in Georgia, South Carolina with 16,000 more vaccinations. As public vaccines have started here in the river region, churches are becoming key players. Both AU Health and University Hospital are partnering with churches to use their properties and get more people vaccinated. Today, Brady Trapnell goes through University Hospital's vaccine plan and the role churches continue to play.
With record COVID-19 hospitalizations in our local hospitals with limited space, some of our churches are stepping up to help. Here at First Baptist Church of Augusta, they say the least they could do is open up their doors for a community in need. Sometimes all you have to do is make a call. It took one call, and University Hospital is getting ready for another life-saving event.
I told her immediately, this is an absolute yes for us. Whatever's on the calendar, we will clear it. We will make room.
Will Dyer and his team at First Baptist Church Augusta made a lot of room. Letting University set up a vaccination clinic inside the church, a no-brainer. Their staff and volunteers are helping direct traffic, and their custodians are cleaning up for free.
The central command of Jesus is to love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And this was an opportunity for us to be the sort of neighbor that we want to have.
First Baptist had the space, easy access, and plenty of parking. So in a week, University Hospital turned the fellowship hall into a clinic and vaccinated more than 3,000 people. Another 2,000 are scheduled tomorrow, all university patients.
Rather than opening up to a large population where some people might get frustrated because they can't get in or can't get an appointment, we really wanted to try to do it at this smaller level.
For now, Renee Gallup says it's only open to those 65 and older in their system. As they get more vaccine, they'll open more locations and appointments on both sides of the river.
The more we all can work together to get vaccine in arms, the better it is for our community.
University Hospital says they'll be reaching out to more churches, especially in minority communities, in an effort to get access to vaccine for anyone and everyone they can. Reporting in Augusta, Brady Trapnell on your side.
Now, don't miss this. University Hospital says tomorrow's clinic is already full. They want to make it very clear, do not show up there if you don't have an appointment. They will not be accepting any walk-ins. And they're also asking the community to avoid calling or showing up with questions without an appointment.
AU Health has a similar request. They're also asking you not to call them or the churches where they're holding vaccine clinics. They say they've been overwhelmed with calls and they can't help people in emergencies. Instead, they've asked you to sign up on their website. That is where all the information is. All you have to do is go to covid.augustahealth.org/vaccine. You might want to jot that down. We've got it there at the bottom of your screen. There you will answer a few questions before scheduling a vaccine appointment. And AU Health is also opening up a vaccine clinic at Aiken Tech to serve people in South Carolina. To get a vaccine, though, you do have to be part of that Phase 1A in Georgia or South Carolina. They are still in that very first phase.
But our local hospitals appear to be trending in the right direction right now with COVID cases. AU Health, University, doctors, and Aiken Regional all now have fewer COVID patients today than yesterday. AU Health and University have each had 4 straight days without an increase in patients. This is the fewest patients AU Health has had since before Christmas.
Daily cases across the two states also trending in the right direction. 4,100 new cases in Georgia, 2,600 in South Carolina today. Georgia has now seen fewer than 6,000 new cases in 8 of the last 10 days. South Carolina has had 9 straight days below 4,000 new cases.
Some more good news for South Carolina. The state will now be getting almost 10,000 more doses of the vaccine every week from the U.S. government, and that starts next week. DHEC says the government approved a 16% increase of first doses for South Carolina. That bumps the state up from 63,000 to more than 72,000 extra doses a week. That increase will last at least 3 weeks. DHEC is figuring out the best way now to allocate all those additional doses. Governor McMaster says South Carolina can expect even more of the vaccine.
Police are asking for your help to find this missing man. This is the best picture they have of 80-year-old Frank Johnson. The Wadley Police Department asking for your help. He was last seen at his home on Bell Court last night. Wadley PD also sent us this video of Johnson. They say he suffers from diabetes and dementia. He left without his daily medication, but maybe you can recognize his gait. It looks like he walks with a cane. Call Wadley Police if you know where he might be.
We are starting to track some light showers across many of our northern counties, places like Lincolnton, Parksville, Edgefield. You're likely seeing a few raindrops. Have a look at when this rain gets out of here in some cooler weather next.
A local cheerleading team getting paid to go to Disney World. We'll explain in 60 seconds.
It comes out of nowhere. 1 second everything's okay, then the next you reach.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, what are you waiting for?
Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all 9s now.
The sooner you call, the sooner they can help.
George Sink Injury Lawyers has the experience to help you get your money faster. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call all 9s.
This local cheer team is heading to the Super Bowl of cheerleading in a few months. The Augusta Cheer Academy has been open for more than a decade.
But this is the first time they've gotten a paid bid to the D2 Summit. Nick Proto talked to them about what this means for their team.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8.
Hundreds of banners and trophies line the walls at Augusta Cheer Academy. Surrounded by the success of past champions, the Junior Nova team prepares for the biggest competition of their lives.
This is like the Super Bowl.
The team, made up of 8 to 14-year-olds, got a paid bid to the D2 Summit, the most prestigious competition they can go to. It's just the 5th year in the gym's 12-year history they've gotten a bid to the Summit, but it's the first time they've gotten an all-expenses paid bid.
We won our first competition, so we got it, and then we actually had the highest score across all the teams, so that's why we got the paid bid. 1, 3, 4, 5.
Last year, the team's season got cut short because of COVID. Through the Zoom sessions and socially distant practices, they've made it back to the mat.
I can't say enough about our kids and our parents and our program for them to be as dedicated as they are and just work through this all together. We've hit the jackpot. The girls have worked really hard, overcome a lot of obstacles, especially during COVID.
The team has less than 4 months before heading to Disney for the Summit in May. As the competition gets closer, the routines get harder, and the desire to hang another banner gets bigger.
Strive to make the town proud. It's very exciting, and they've worked really hard, and we push them.
In Augusta, Nick Proto, on your side.
And we wish them the best of luck. 2 other teams of the Academy got at-large bids to the Summit, but the Junior Nova team is the only one to get a paid bid. The Summit is May 13th through 15th down in Disney World.
We will wish them well. That's a big stage for them. Live look here at the Calhoun Express.